What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Renee. I go by Miss Bull, and today I'm going to be talking about some of the really traumatic experiences that I had when I was younger that I didn't realize that I had, and how it was affecting my life in ways that I could not even imagine. I'm going to start this video off by saying I am so scared. I've literally been trying not to make this video for like this entire week, but it's been put on my heart so heavy to make this video. And I know when I was in some of my darkest times, like in those places where I just felt like I really need to feel like I'm not by myself, there were other people who were brave enough to share their story, to make videos, you know, and I watched them on YouTube, and I just wanted to say thank you. So I couldn't not listen to God when he told me to share my story, because I know that there are so many people hurting. There are so many people covering up traumatic experiences that happened to them, not knowing that they're living with trauma because they never actually identified it. And they chose not to deal with it. So I just want to say a prayer before I start. And if I pause or like, I'm definitely going to try not to cry, but my period's coming, so who knows? If I crack a joke, it's probably because I feel myself trying to cry. I will say that I have an immense sense of freedom that I haven't had in years. And I want everyone to have that. Like, I don't want people to be walking around how I felt. I don't want people to be going home at night wondering what's wrong with them. I don't want people to feel like there is something wrong with them because they can't deal with a certain thing, or they react a certain way to people, situations, locations. And I just want you to know that you're not by yourself. You're not crazy. You know, you're not bipolar because your moods go up and down. I want you to know that I see you. Like, I see you. I've been you. And it gets better. So let me just pray so I can get started. Lord, I just thank you so much for whoever is watching this video. Lord, I just pray that you would be their comfort in this moment, God, wherever they are in the world, wherever they're watching this, if they're on their phones, if they're on their computers, their iPads, if they're in a place of hurt and just pain and desperation, and they just really need to know that it's okay, God. I just pray that they can hear this testimony that I'm giving, and know that you can do the same thing for them, that it is possible, that you are so awesome, and that you do not want us to live in pain, regret, fear, or trauma for the rest of our lives, as life is too short and you've made it so beautiful for us. Amen. Whoo, child, I'm already crying. Y'all, pray for me, okay? Now, you might be wondering, girl, why did you do your makeup if you knew you were going to do this video? Well, listen, I wanted to feel strong and beautiful, because that day that this happened to me, I didn't feel strong and beautiful. And from this day forward, I'm going to always feel strong and beautiful with or without makeup on. But today, I wanted to put makeup and a lip gloss on to tell y'all what happened to me and how God has completely changed my life. So growing up, I grew up in a really, I wouldn't say religious. I would just say that it was very churchy. So I grew up in church, always going to church. My parents always preaching and telling us, what they knew best about God. And me, I'm like one of 7 kids, so I'm the middle. So I'm kind of like seeing my older siblings do their thing, seeing my younger siblings, figure it out. And I always felt like I was I always felt like I was curious about things that I didn't know. Like I always felt like, yeah, I know church is cool, but when I was in middle school, I had a friend who had two gay moms. And I mean, who had two moms, so they clearly were gay. You can't have two gay moms, but whatever. We were best friends, and I remember thinking, if the church is telling me that this is wrong, but this is my best friend, and these are just people, I feel like there's more to the story. Like I always felt like there's more to the story. And so I grew up really, really sheltered, and I didn't know a lot. I knew a lot of what God said don't do, but I didn't know a lot about how the world works. And so when I went to high school, I went to a public school. And growing up, I had went to a charter school. And so when I went to high school, this was the first time I really started going to school with black kids. When I was in middle school, I was like one of two black girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like it was just us, you know? And so when I went to high school, it was really a culture shock because I was like, dang, here's all these people that look like me, but they don't act like me, because none of these people are like coming from the very strict upbringing that I came from. They're coming from the city, they're coming from New York, they're coming from Philly, they're coming from Baltimore, they're coming from all over, places where I had not spent a lot of time, and I didn't know, like, to the point of like, I'll tell you guys how naive I was growing up, like, to the point where I remember when I was in elementary school, this was literally like how naive I was growing up, and somebody asked me they was like, yo, 50 Cent, like speaking about the rapper, and I took 2 quarters out of my pocket. Yeah, that's how naive I was growing up. Like I didn't know about rap music, I didn't know about artists, I didn't know about Nas, I didn't know about Jadakiss, I didn't know about these things. I was sheltered. So in high school, when I was about 14 or 15, I was over a friend's house. I actually liked his friend, and I thought we were gonna hang out. So when I went there, I was like, oh, like, okay. He had a friend there, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever, not my problem. I'm here to hang out with you. Of course, I didn't tell my parents, because my parents, I think I lied, honestly. I think I lied and was like, I'm gonna go hang out with someone. And I went to go hang out with the guy that I liked. Long story short, his friend was there. His friend trapped me, didn't trap me, like, I was in the basement. I remember I was in the basement, and they took my phone. And I was like, you know, I'm playing, like, give me my phone back, like, you guys stop tripping, like, give me my phone back. They're like, nah, what you gonna do? I'm like, what I'm gonna do? I want my phone back. I'm not gonna do anything, give me my phone back. So at the time, again, like, being naive and being young, I'm just like, yo, give me my phone back, like, stop playing. And he's like, no. And then, like, I just remember him trapping me in the bathroom. His friend had my phone. His friend, the one I liked, had my phone. And then his other friend had me in the bathroom. And this is when everything started for me. When they trapped me in the bathroom, the first thing through my mind was just like, oh my God, I'm going to get in so much trouble. I'm not supposed to be here. And I think it dawned on me like, oh, he might rape me. But I was like, I was so scared of my parents finding out that I lied that I was just like, let me see what I can do to get out of here. Because I was just like, I didn't even know how to respond. At that time, I was a virgin. At that time, I don't even think I had kissed a boy before. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. So as I was in the bathroom, I'm like asking the guy that I like, hey, like, let me out, like, give me my phone. He's not letting me out. And the guy ends up like making me perform and do different things on him. And I remember leaving the house and thinking to myself, why didn't I know that would happen? Like, I remember thinking to myself, I didn't want to do any of those things. And I was so scared, but I didn't know how to put it into words. So I just remember from that day on going, I don't want any other guy to do that to me. I don't want any other guy to expect me to want to do that. And I don't want to ever have to do something that I'm not comfortable with. So I remember like something ticked in my mind. It didn't even register to me that I was been sexually assaulted, that I was doing something that I didn't want to do, that I felt threatened, that they had took my phone, that they had trapped me. It didn't even register to me that this was sexual assault. Again, my parents had never talked to me about sex. It was more of a don't have sex, which I think is another video that I'll make about how it's extremely damaging when you grow up in any religion really, or any strict household where they tell you a lot of rules surrounding don't do something, but there is no explanation of the bigger picture. But that's a whole nother video. Let me stay focused. So at the time when it happened, it never registered to me that I was sexually assaulted. What registered to me that I was weak, that I was dumb, and I needed to play a different game. So I immediately snapped into survivor mode. I immediately snapped into, I'm just gonna be cool with everybody. I'm never gonna let another guy think that he could do that to me. And I remember, like through high school, I was holding so much anger because I had older siblings. I remember thinking, my older sisters are in high school. Why didn't they tell me guys were like this? And I remember thinking, I have an older brother. Why would he not tell me that even though I don't want to have sex, someone else who wants to do something with me could be powerful enough or intimidating enough to make me do something that I didn't want to do? Like, I felt betrayed by my family. And I remember in high school, because I had gotten to this mindset of it's just me, I have to figure it out. Clearly no one wanted to warn me. And this, looking back, was just a trap that the enemy had set to, boom, blind me from what had happened. I got angry with them. Like, I low-key started to resent them because I felt like they didn't warn me. And I remember I would see the guy at school. I would avoid him. I would play it cool with all the guys, to the point where in high school, mad people thought I was just gay. I had suppressed my emotions. I had suppressed my, I wasn't even really affectionate, because I remember thinking, and this was another lie, maybe I had given off some kind of vibe to make him think I wanted that to happen to me. And I want you to know right now, if you're a victim of sexual assault, if you're a victim of rape, if you're a victim of anyone taking advantage of you, there is no vibe that you have ever given off to have deserved for anyone to have done anything to you. I want to tell you that right now. There is nothing that you did to deserve what happened to you. This is a lie. This is a lie that we tell ourselves to try to cope. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is not the truth. Do not hold that weight. Do not hold that as truth. It is not the truth. So anyway, fast forward to, I feel so, it's crazy saying this out loud. Honestly, the only reason I'm not breaking down is I started therapy, and I told this whole story to my therapist. While I was telling it to her, I was losing it. But I'm grateful that I'm strong enough right now to tell you guys, and not be crying, because I really want to explain how everything happened. So again, everyone thought I was gay. And I was okay with everyone thinking I was gay, as long as that didn't happen again. Again, my parents don't know. My siblings don't know, because I already was starting to resent them because I didn't think that they warned me. And I remember just being really protective of my younger siblings, because I felt a sense of responsibility because that happened to me. I remember in my senior year of high school, I remember the idea of college turning me off so badly, because I remember thinking, if this happened to me, and I don't know, I think I was in 10th grade. If this happened to me in 10th grade and I had no idea this could ever happen, what else could be lying for me in college? And I remember there being this underlying thought in my mind of, I don't know what I'm missing. This is as it relates to life, but I know I'm missing something. I'm missing something, because I was brought up in this really, it was really like a kind of like a bubble. I felt always pulled to finding more truth. So anyway, I don't want to ramble. I really just kind of want to get to different parts of my life where I can now see that this was the root of why so many things didn't work out for me. I remember, because I had suppressed so many of my emotions, being affectionate, because I was just completely like not wanting anyone to take advantage of me ever again. I remember always being very turned off and put off by any man who pursued me, and maybe their intentions were pure, but they were just, to me, they liked me too much. So because of what happened to me, I remember thinking, if he likes me so much, I might not know his intentions. He might try to take advantage of me and I won't know how to react. I realize now, looking back, I sabotaged so many, and not like I was dating so many people, but I sabotaged so many relationships and moments with people because I was scared. Like, they could genuinely like me, genuinely be just interested in getting to know me, but because I didn't know their intentions, and because I had that underlying fear of, I can't let go of the thought that someone, when I least expect it, could take advantage of me, I completely was shut off to the idea of someone genuinely loving me or liking me. This is scary because then I allow myself to date men who were just straight up trash, okay? I remember just constantly feeling safe with talking to men who did the bare minimum. Why? Because I knew what their expectations were. Their expectations were to do nothing most of the time. Two, I was constantly almost like a coach to them. So it's almost like I kind of knew what I was in for, because I was sort of coaching the whole relationship. If this is, for example, why don't you text me more? Oh, I think you should text me more today. Oh, I think we should hang out more. Oh, we should hang out. I'm constantly looking for love and affection, not from the guys who actually want to spend time with me, because I'm too scared of them, because I've gone through this trauma that I've never even identified. I just know it feels better if I'm in control, and if I'm in control, then it's a guy that kind of likes me, but I really have to put out 150% for it to work. And I remember last year thinking to myself, why? I know better. Why do I keep falling for these guys who treat me like crap? And I just couldn't figure it out. And it was to the point where I was like, maybe I just need to date more people. Maybe I'm not experiencing the right kind of people. Maybe. And again, it was always me looking outward at what the problem was instead of looking inward. Again, I had never identified that this happened to me in high school. So this is like me in my 20s now. Never had a successful, healthy relationship. I never felt valued or loved equally by a man, other than my family. And so I began to really, I would start to ask God, and I remember so many nights where I would just be crying because I would have allowed myself to not even get into a relationship. I would allow myself to get to a place where I was putting so much energy into a man that I knew really wasn't for me. But because he felt safe, I felt like we could make it work. And I remember just praying and crying to God and saying, I'm so tired. I am so tired. I'm tired of feeling unappreciated. I'm tired of feeling defeated. I'm tired of begging. I just remember pleading with God to help me because I was tired. I think there was a point last year where I thought there was going to be a situation that worked out. I really liked them. I thought it was better than the past situations because he liked me, I think, a little bit more than the really sucky guys. And when that didn't work out, I remember I went into almost like a panic looking back now. And this is when I got addicted to porn. Plot twist. So I remember just thinking, one, I never grew up like masturbating and watching porn, nothing. To me, like I went through high school and I was a virgin, and I didn't lose my virginity till a little bit afterwards. And I had never like really experimented or experienced a lot of like sex at all. And I just remember in the emptiness that I was feeling because I constantly just felt like no one was meeting me halfway. I felt like porn was like this comfort that I wasn't getting from a real person. And in some like very, dark way it was, because you're watching on screen these people who you feel are connecting in some way sexually, and you feel like it's feeling something in you that's not being filled. And I remember just like going on a deep dive into porn. Like I don't even think my friends and family know this. I was like deep in it. I mean, I'm talking about like I'm watching porn, and I just remember being like, maybe I'm exploring my sexuality. And then I was like, you're really watching porn because you're trying to fill this empty void. And then I just kept saying, nah, it's a hot girl summer. Don't get caught up, boo. Let me watch my little bit of porn. Let me do my thing. I don't need these men, whatever. Continually making excuses and burying hurt. Camera died, but I don't want this video to be 30 minutes. So I'm gonna try to say everything that I need to say the best way I know how. Now that I know I'm not gonna cry, I feel like I can really, I can relax a little bit. So yeah, like at the point where I was addicted to porn, I felt like I was in a really hurt place, because I remember knowing what I deserved. I remember like seeing a glimpse of it, almost like I would go to church and I would feel like, God's love for a moment, but then I wasn't continuing a relationship with him. I wasn't reading my Bible. I wasn't doing anything, to like activate God. Like I wasn't doing any of that. I was kind of just living my life and really, really wondering why nothing was changing. And I was wondering, as I was wondering why nothing was changing, I would also start to ask myself some really tough questions. And I think this was the beginning of what became like my breakthrough or my healing. I remember watching a video by Lisa Nichols. She was describing her past and how she overcame some of the personal things she was going through. But one of the key points she talked about was exposing the lies you tell yourself. And I remember sitting in bed and she was like, this is one of the exercises I do with people. And what I do is I have them write down all the lies you tell yourself about why you can't start your business, why you won't be married, why you're not in a good relationship. Just like listing all the things, list the things that you want. I want a house, I want a car, and then start to list the lies you tell yourself as to why you don't have those things. And then start to list a list of truths surrounding those things. So for me, I was like, I'm not in a relationship. The lie I would tell myself is because no one loves me enough, or I haven't found the right person for me because that person doesn't exist, or I'm too broken for someone to accept me. The truth is, God is not going to put more on you than you can bear. If you yourself are not whole as a person, He is not going to allow you to attract your other half, because you need to be a whole person. So anyway, I started to expose the lies. And I wasn't even writing these down. I just started to think about the stuff that subconsciously I've been telling myself for years, as to why I couldn't be an entrepreneur, as to why I couldn't be more successful, as to why I couldn't make more money, as to why I couldn't live the life I wanted, as to why just anything I wasn't seeing wasn't happening. Boom. Started exposing the lies. Then I continued, I was doing my thing, and I felt like God was continually pulling at my heart of like, keep asking yourself the hard questions. And I just want to encourage whoever is watching this, like if you're still watching this, God bless you. But if you're still watching this, I really want to encourage you to like start asking yourself the tough questions. Why do I feel uncomfortable when someone's trying to give me love? Why do I feel uncomfortable when someone really, really likes me, but I continue to want attention from someone who is doing the bare minimum? And I'm chasing after that person, begging them to love me, when someone really wants to love me over here, and I'm just like totally turned off. What is it, the underlying emotion in me? What is the reason why I can't even accept that from someone else? I started asking myself the really tough questions. Why can't I be more affectionate? Why am I closed off? Why am I not close to my brothers and sisters as much as I should be? Why does it feel forced to have a relationship? As I started asking myself these questions, everything started to be revealed to me almost like a flood. I remember when I was in Vegas, and I remember I had quit my job, and I don't know if you guys have watched my video. I quit my job last year, and I feel like this was really the catalyst for me moving out of this false identity that had been placed on me because of the things that had happened in high school. I feel like I was starting to find my identity because I was refusing to just believe some things. Like I refused to believe that job was my future or my intended destiny. And when I refused that, boom, another light bulb went off. If that's not my intended destiny and I can change that, why can't I then change this hurt that I feel and the way I accept love and the way I interact with the opposite sex? This fear that I had of being in a relationship with someone, the sabotage that would happen. Why can't I change that? The answer is you can change that. So I remember I was in Vegas. Literally, this was a couple months ago. All this has been like in a couple months. Literally, like this transformation of the mind, almost like this awakening. Like I feel like I'm awake now. Like I feel like I was asleep. Like I feel like I was numb, and I feel like I'm awake now. But I was in Vegas, and I remember it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I had been asking the tough questions. Why aren't I like this? Why am I not girly enough? Why can't I be affectionate? What is wrong with me? Blah, blah, blah. I was taking a shower. I'm in Vegas. And I remember just like the Holy Spirit telling me, you got sexually assaulted in high school. You never dealt with it. And it shaped the rest of your life. And I remember thinking, what are you talking about? And he was like, remember that day when you were down there and they made you do that stuff you didn't want to do? And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's been trauma you've been holding, and your whole attitude, your whole identity was switched that day because of something that should have never happened to you. And I remember coming out of the shower, and then I remember he also said, and you blame your sisters for not warning you. Like all the things that I'm saying to you, it just kind of like was revealed to me in that moment. And I remember sitting there and being like, I do. I really do. And now, of course, I don't feel like that now, but at the moment, when you have a revelation of something that you bury deep inside of you, it doesn't even dawn on you that the hurt you're living with was compartmentalized because you felt it was the best thing to keep you safe. And I want to challenge you, if you're watching this, whatever hurt it is that you buried so deep, whatever it is that you are avoiding, whatever it is that you cannot talk about. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I'm telling you that in that hurt, in that pain, in that trauma is real freedom for yourself, for the next generation that will come out of you. Because if you do not come to terms with what has happened to you, and it might not look anything like my story, it might look totally different, but you know what hurt and what pain is buried deep inside of you that you don't want to talk about, you don't want to think about, you just have created this wall to protect yourself. Baby, let me tell you, I understand. But in order, I heard this, I don't know who said this, but God cannot heal what you do not reveal. He can't. If you are in denial about something that has happened to you, you cannot be truly free and healed from it. And I know that is so hard. It is hard facing that thing that has broken you. But I'm trying to tell you right now, it might seem like it has broken you, but those pieces can come back together and you will be a whole person again. But it takes a little bit more courage to really look that thing in the eye and say, I've experienced this. This has hurt me, but I will be a whole person again. I feel it so strongly. There are people living with so much hurt and so much pain because they think it's easier. I did. I thought it was easier for me to just be distant. This video is going to be kind of long, but it's all right. But anyway, I forget where I was, honestly. Anyway, I remember calling my sister, and I remember because she had been reaching out to me, and this is, again, ask myself tough questions. I was like, why have I never cared for years to be closer to my older sister? Not that I hated her or anything like that. I just was like, I don't care. It was like a toss-up. I was like, I talk to her, I don't talk to her. It wasn't a relationship. And once that was revealed to me in the shower, I remember calling her, crying. I remember being like, oh my gosh, I have to tell them I'm sorry. I don't know how many people I had hurt. Because the truth is, when you're going through trauma and you've buried trauma and hurt that you've not dealt with or identified, certain actions, how can I say this? Certain ways that you conduct yourself can be very hurtful and damaging to other people. And sometimes you don't realize it because you've put these walls up because you think it's protecting you. And I think the biggest thing I learned is that those walls were protecting me, but they were also fighting off a lot of love. They were fighting off a lot of care and a lot of healing that I needed to experience. And I know whoever's hurting right now, it might seem like the coping mechanisms that you've adopted and that you've allowed yourself to do for yourself is the best option for you. I understand. I just want to challenge you to start to expose the lies that you're telling yourself. Start to really challenge your mindset. What would happen if I were more vulnerable? What could happen if I allowed myself to heal from this? What could happen if I really face this? Who can I include on my healing journey? And I remember calling her, crying and being like, this is what happened to me. I just realized that I wanted nothing to do with you guys because I feel like you had abandoned me in my time of need. And to be honest, I felt alone. I felt betrayed, and I carried that for years. I remember I called her, I called my other sister. I remember just apologizing. And after I apologized, there was this feeling of I still didn't want there to be any resentment, especially with my parents, because at the end of the day, your parents do the best that they can. Anything that has happened to me, I do not blame my parents. I realize now, and I've been able to come to peace, because in the beginning, I was like, if they weren't so strict, or if they weren't so worried about me needing to be saved, they could have been more open to warning me or explaining it. Your parents do the best that they can. And, I had to come to a point where I was like, my parents did the best that they could. There are certain things that the enemy wants to happen to you to steal your identity. I think when people read the scripture, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, they really think that he's trying to kill you. What he will do is kill the person that God has created you to be. What he will do is kill your identity. He will kill your mind. He will kill your confidence. He will kill your faith. Because without that, he won't even have to kill you. You'll be so low and depressed and downtrodden that you'll do the rest for him. I think that once I realized this was to kill my identity, for years, I would have glimpses of almost what I thought was like, who is this person? I would have glimpses of what my life could be. I would have really big wins. And then I would continue to just feel lost. And it was because my true identity was trying to peek out. But then I continued to pull myself down because I had so much self-doubt, because I was always cautious and scared and really didn't want to put myself out there because I didn't want anything to happen outside of my control. Because I was too scared. I didn't believe in myself. I had downplayed myself. I had downplayed everything about me, because when that happened to me in that basement, a part of me died. A part of my confidence and my innocence died. And it was replaced with what I thought was protecting me. And to wrap this up, I just want to say, I just moved to Hawaii. I'm living here full time. I don't have it all figured out. I don't know all the answers, but I can say that for the first time in a really long time, I can really see myself. Like, I recognize me when I look in the mirror. Like, I think the thoughts and feel the feelings that I want to. Like, I don't feel swayed by my past experiences or the awful things that happened to me. Like, I feel so free, and I want that for you. Like, healing is hard. I'm in therapy now. If you're still watching, that's why this video is monetized. Therapy is expensive. And I just want to say that I see you. I believe in you. I know that the path to healing is hard. I'm going to create more videos speaking about my healing process, what I'm doing every day to continue to bring myself out of these dark spaces, keep myself aligned with my purpose, with my destiny, with God, having faith every day that the lies I used to tell myself will no longer have control over me. I have a link below if you're still watching. Please sign up for She Is Me. If you're a guy, I don't know, I might create a group, but women especially, please sign up for She Is Me. It's just going to be, I haven't really formed it yet, but I just feel like this is something that I want to stay connected. I want to really be there for you. You're not alone in this. If you're still watching this, please comment down below, I am not alone. comment down below, I see you. Because I really feel like when you're in those dark places, you feel like no one can see you. And I want you to know I can see you. And I love you. Thank you guys for watching.